Hi, I'm Dave Vickers and welcome to the Photo Show. In today's episode we're going to take a look at the best cameras from 2017. 2017 has been quite a mixed bag for camera releases. There's been some really good cameras in the high end, but the low to middle end's been kind of lacking this year. So I thought what I'd do is I'd take a look through the best cameras of 2017 and they'll be relevant through 2018 as well. Remember, if you like what you see on the Photo Show, please comment, like and subscribe in the boxes below. Let's take a look at the best cameras of 2017. Starting off with the Nikon D850. This was probably one of the most anticipated cameras of the year, and it caused an awful lot of speculation as to what the specifications were going to be for the camera. Coming out as a replacement for the popular D810, the D850 is Nikon's largest megapixel full-frame camera, coming in at a whopping 46 megapixels. Using the same autofocus system as its big brother the D5, the D850 has amazing image quality, and it matches this with incredible performance and handling. In addition to the stills side, the D850 also offered 4K video, and it's the first Nikon camera to allow 4K video to be filmed using the full-size sensor. In July of 2017, Canon released the 6D Mark II, which replaces the original 6D and is Canon's entry-level full-frame DSLR. The 6D Mark II has a 26.2 megapixel sensor and uses Canon's latest Digic 7 processor. The 6D Mark II has an improved ISO range and shooting rate over the original 6D, and now includes Canon's amazing dual pixel AF system as well. The other addition that Canon added into the 6D Mark II was a fully articulating touchscreen, but this camera has no 4K video, it just shoots in 1080p. And the third full frame camera I've picked from 2017 is Sony's A9. Now 2017 looked like the year that Sony actually made a serious play at taking on Canon and Nikon at their own game. The Sony A9 has a 24.2 full-frame stack sensor, which is said to allow data transfer at a much faster rate. Being mirrorless, the A9 offers a top shutter speed of 1/32,000th of a second and will shoot at up to 20 frames per second, which far outguns the top of the range Canons and Nikons. Autofocus on the A9 uses an incredible 693 autofocus points, and the electronic viewfinder also offers near 4K quality when you're viewing through it. Video-wise, the A9 will shoot 4K using the full size of the sensor, so it's not introducing any crop factor at all. The only thing that seems to be holding Sony back at the moment is their lack of lenses. I think if they can bring out a wider range of lenses to compete with Canon and Nikon, they really could make a serious play in the high-end professional camera market. So moving on from the full-frame cameras, let's look at crop sensor APS-C cameras that were released in 2017. And the first one I've chosen here is the Nikon D7500. The D7500 is Nikon's latest updates from its popular D7000 range, and this version borrows an awful lot from its big brother the D500. It uses the same 20.9 megapixel APS-C size sensor, and it also uses the X-Speed 5 processor. Autofocus has stayed the same from the previous model, the D7200, and has 51 autofocus points. Now the D7500 does shoot 4K video, but it only uses the central part of the sensor and introduces a 2.2 crop for any 4K video you're going to be shooting. So the D7500 is giving you a lot of features that you find in the bigger D500, just in a lighter, smaller body size and at a cheaper price. The next camera I've chosen from 2017 is the Canon 200D, or as it's known in America, the Rebel SL2. Now, Canon's 200D may be their entry-level DSLR, but I do think it offers an awful lot to a wider market. It uses a 24.2 APS-C size sensor and uses Canon's latest Digic 7 processor. Autofocus wise, it has just 9 autofocus points and will shoot at up to 5 frames per second. Now, I know none of these specifications are particularly mind-blowing, but it does make it a really good camera for beginners. But the other area it scores big in is that the 200D has a fully articulating tilting touchscreen, which means it could be an ideal camera for people who want to start vlogging but don't want to pay up for the more expensive 80D. Now the 200D is a small size DSLR and it comes in 3 colours. You can get it in a standard black, there's a silver and tan, and there's a very Stormtrooper-esque looking white. And the final camera release I've chosen for 2017 is the Fuji X-T20. Now the Fuji X-T20 was bought out as a cheaper, smaller version of the higher end X-T2, but what they did was share an awful lot of features with the bigger camera. Both have a 24.3 APS-C size sensor. Being a mirrorless camera, the X-T20 has an electronic shutter which will shoot up to 1/32,000th of a second. and it also has a shooting frame rate of 8 frames per second. The Fuji X range has a real retro styling, which is reminiscent of rangefinder cameras from the 1960s, and I think they offer a different option for photographers who want to get away from the traditional looking DSLR and want something that's a little more stylish to look at. So drones in 2017. Drone King's DJI upgraded most of their range throughout the year, but it was the release of the Spark in 2017 that caused the most sensation. Now the Spark is the smallest and cheapest drone that DJI have ever produced, and they're marketing it as what they're calling a selfie drone. With many of the features being automated, the drone can also be controlled just by using hand gestures, which I think will make the Spark the ideal starter drone. And finally, a name from the past reappeared this year, and it's Japanese camera manufacturer Yashica, and they seem to have come up with possibly the weirdest idea of 2017. Yashica have launched a Kickstarter campaign for a new type of digital camera, the Yashica Y35 Digifilm, and the concept behind this is that the camera takes film style canisters that give different looks to your photography. Now there are 4 different Digifilm options they're looking at making available. There's an ISO 1600 high speed, a black and white, an ISO 200 ultra fine, and a 120 format that gives a 6x6 image. The camera would have no LCD screen, and you'd have to swap out each of the Digifilms to get the different looks you're looking for. Now, to be completely honest, if this announcement had been made on April the 1st, I definitely wouldn't have fallen for it. But the Kickstarter campaign's up and going, and we'll have to wait and see if this ever sees the light of day in 2018. So there we go, that's our roundup of cameras from 2017. Remember, if you like what you see, please comment, like and subscribe in the boxes below. But for now, I'm Dave Vickers, this is The Photo Show, thanks for watching, see you next time.